Hi everyone. Hope you're all doing good. Right. Okay, so this is the second round draw for the 21st edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard game. Uh, for the first round, there was 28 of you. Now, after a rather destructive first round a couple of weeks ago, there are only 12 left in it. So just go to our Excel sheet, just a reminder of those 12 lucky bastards that are still in it. It's been a couple of weeks now since UFC 303. And obviously, yeah, it feels like forever, doesn't it? I know, obviously, we've been missing our UFC action. You guys have been missing my non-central comments on the UFC fights, starting to get withdrawal symptoms from them, I'm sure. But maybe it's a necessary break for from that side of things. Here we go. It's loaded now. Right. They are the lucky bastards still in it are Captain Quebec, Cheeseball, Cool Hand Puke, Costradamus, Foghorn Sam, Cushy Cake, Mason O or Mason Zero, Shat, Schwer Industry, Tai Sumagamanov, Trail Allman, and Troz. So that's there are 12 lucky bastards remaining, and for this week, we have another UFC fight night. Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez. And it's another interesting little chapter in Namajunas' jump up to flyweight, isn't it? It's after always being near the top of the strawweight division, champion on I think a couple of occasions. It's well, yeah, definitely. She had about twice, didn't she? At least definitely once. I'm certain that she had it twice. That belt's flops around so much I can't even keep track of it. It's more than a light heavyweight belt there. Anyway, um, yeah, I say another jump up is kind of mixed results for her at flyweight. Lost to Amanda Rebus, but beat last time out, but beat Manion. No, no, I got that the wrong way around, didn't she? No, she beats Amanda Rebus, sorry, and lost to Manio Ferro. Um, so she's, I suppose, starting to adjust to the new division. As for Tracy Cortez, she's not quite at the same kind of championship caliber as Namhunas is used to fighting at, but she's on the rise and putting an impressive little streak together. It's going to be a close fight. It could go either way, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Tracy Cortez win this. But I'm siding with Namajunas simply because of her previous experience of what she did down at strawweight and how good she looked there, how well she held her own with the girls down there. And one thing I am sure of, though, this is gonna go the distance. I'm sure we're gonna get a 5-round fight here. Hopefully a slightly better 5-round fight than Namajunas versus Carla Esparza 2, but that was a bit of an unfair jibe because most of the time Namajunas' fights are actually really good. So that was just a one-time exception. But anyway, enough of my nonsensical predictions. Let's see who we're all being drawn with. Right, we're starting with Captain Quebec. Let's see who Captain Quebec gets drawn with. The first spin on this always takes a little bit to load for some reason. And he gets Andre Petrosky. Andre Petrosky there for Captain Quebec. And yes, I'm weirdly confident in Josh Fremd, his opponent, for this one. To be honest, so yeah, I've gone with Josh Fremd for a second round knockout. Obviously, former LFA champ, struggled to adapt to the UFC, if I'm being honest, but he is a good fighter. It's just I think it's just taking a little bit longer to settle in the UFC than maybe I first anticipated. But Andre Petrosky, this is a winnable fight for Josh Fremd. It's not the easiest fight, but it is very winnable. So I would expect him to find a win. I've got him by second round knockout because he does have that explosive power that can win a fight in a second. And Petrosky's lost his last two by knockout, so it's kind of like two pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, fitting together quite nicely there. Well, not for an Andre Petrosky, obviously, but you know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, Josh Rem second round knockout. I'm not sure that's a very good lucky pick, lucky draw there for Captain Quebec with Andre Petrosky. Little bit of luck needed this round. And screen sharing's been paused again for some reason. Why is that? Just wait for that to go green again. I didn't even click nothing. Why did it come like? There we go. Just bear with me a second. I'm just going to check which screen it's actually sharing. So yeah, we're still on the wheel. Yep. Okay. Okay then. Right. Cheeseball up next. And he gets drawn with Jasmine Jasudavicius. Jasmine Jasudavicius there for Cheeseball. I hate when it makes that boinking sound. What the fuck is this? What's that little box coming up for? Jasmine Jasu. Yeah, now it's letting me type. Okay. Jasuda Visi. There we go. And yeah, she's one of the ones I've after the last I think a couple of weeks back now, I made a little ranking on Tapology of a little Lucky Bastard Hall of Fame for fighters that have won events for users, and Jasmine's in that list. So just I'll give that a shout out. Hopefully she'll be lucky as well for Cheeseball. And I think she will be. I've got her to win a decision against Fatima Klein, and Fatima Klein's making a UFC debut in this one. 6-0. Previously fought in Invicta, which is actually quite a good sign. To be honest, if there's a lady coming from Invicta and she's well, particularly if she's undefeated, that is a good sign. So Fatima Klein, I've got high hopes for her, but this is certainly a test, and it's going to be a very tough one for her. To be honest, I'm not quite sure if she's going to be able to step up that much. So yeah, I've got Jasmine for a decision win there, which is obviously good news for Cheeseball. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm some kind of jinx, so no, maybe that might not be good news for Cheeseball at all. But anyway, Cool Hand Puke is up next to take on the wheel. And he gets a Muslim Silikov. That's one of the co-main eventers there. Muslim Silikov. And I've got his opponent Santiago Ponzinibbio. Butchered that one. But for the third round knockout, it's coming off a loss to Kevin Holland, but that's a respectable loss, really. I can't really hold him too much against him for losing to Kevin Holland. Solid fighter in the welterweight division. As for Muslim Salikov, he's been KO'd in his last fight. On a 2-fight losing streak. He's not in the best of form. And well, Santiago Ponzini BBO. He's a tough old veteran, so I think that experience is going to be a key factor. I mean, Muslim Salikov's got quite a few fights under his belt as well, but I think the Santiago's got the better experience. So yeah, it's another one I think might need a little bit of luck to get through. Costradamus next to take on the wheel. And he gets drawn with Christian Rodriguez. Christian Rodriguez. For Costradamus. And I've got him to win by a decision against Julian Erosa. One thing I did know about, which I didn't realise, but I find rather interesting, is that all the Christian, excuse me, of Christian Rodriguez's last 3 wins, all of them were undefeated fighters at the time. So he's a sort of the O snatcher, so to speak. Well, I mean, obviously, that's not really going to have too much bearing on this fight. Obviously, Julian Erosa, a very tough veteran, 29 wins, 11 losses, but he's a lot of things, but he's not undefeated. And I think that Rodriguez's recent form is going to be enough to see him through in this one. I can't see him finishing Erosa because Erosa is just going to be too good defensively for that. I don't think there's an awful lot in terms of the striking or ground game that Rodriguez can really throw at Erosa that he wouldn't have seen previously. But he's going to do more work to get the decision win, I feel. So yeah, that's quite a good pick in my opinion. Foghorn Sam next to take on the wheel. Let's see who Foghorn Sam's going to be rooting for. He gets Joshua Van. Joshua Van in this one, flyweight. And yeah, he's this is one of those ones where most of the time I do tend to agree with the bookmakers, but not this game, not this time. Tripping over me own tongue there. All right, but is the bookies got him as the -250 favourite. I disagree. I'm going with Charles Johnson for this one to win by decision. I've got Charles Johnson. He's a well. I haven't got him. It may sound like I've got him in a bet. I haven't. I will not promote gambling on this channel. I wish you good luck for any bets you have, but I will not promote it. But yeah, no, it's the 195. Well, yeah, 195 plus 195, obviously. Underdog for that one. I struggle to get my head around those. Also, I often have to try and convert it into fractions that I'm used to over here. But either way, he's the underdog. But I think part of the reason I've sided with him is because he's active. This is going to be his 4th fight in the space of a year, and that's I've got a lot of respect for fighters that keep themselves active, keep the division flowing, and it's I suppose, and I'm a big believer in momentum as well, especially when you're on a winning streak like Charles Johnson is. So I think that momentum should be enough to cause a slight upset here. So yeah, I think a good bet. Not advising anyone to do that, obviously, but a good underdog pick in my opinion. Right, next to take on the wheel is, oh, for fuck's sake, it's paused again. All right, hang on. I didn't even click nothing. All right, anyway, I just clicked off the Excel sheet and it comes up. I don't know. I mean, this whole Zoom thing looks like it's had some kind of update to it because it's all just come up slightly differently. I'm not a techie guy. It's technology scares me when it looks a bit new, and I don't know. Maybe the tech industry would be better off without any updates. They probably don't do anything anyway. Anyway, Cushy Cake to take on the wheel. Let's see who he's stands with. He gets Josh Fremd, who I mentioned earlier in this. Josh Fremd is the opponent, obviously, of Andre Petrosky, and in this case, Captain Quebec. And yeah, as I've said, I'm more confident in Josh Fremd. Not the most inspiring start to the UFC, but we know how talented he is. always one of my favourites to watch over at LFA. Maybe I'm a bit biased because of those LFA nights, but I don't know. Yeah, actually, there's probably a bit of bias there, I'm not going to lie. But I do still fancy him to get the win anyway over Andre Petrosky, as mentioned earlier in the video, second round knockout. So, especially with Petrosky losing his last two by knockout. So, yeah, I think that's a good pick, that one. One I am quite confident in. Mason O is next to take on the wheel. Let's see who he's going to be rooting for come tomorrow night. And he also gets Muslim Salikov. Who else had him earlier? Yes, Kulhan Puke had Muslim Salikov earlier. And as I mentioned, the co-main events against Santiago Ponzinibbio, and it's yeah, trouble is when they start to repeat themselves. I'll start multiple fights coming up. I start to repeat myself. I don't want to try to do that too much, but third round knockout for Santiago Ponzinibbio. Especially, I don't want to repeat myself when pronouncing that name all the time. I should know how to pronounce it by now. He's been around the UFC long enough. But third round knockout there for Santiago. I think it's I think Mason Zero is going to need a bit of luck for that. So yeah, let's hope Salikov can turn his form around for both Kulhan Puke and Mason Zero's sake. Right, Shat next to take on the wheel. Let's see who's Shat being paired. He's also being paired with Muslim Salikov. So I suppose by default this is going to, despite the head-to-head, just because of three people riding on Muslim Salikov, this is going to be our unofficial main event of the Lucky Bastard main event of the second rounds. Yeah, as I mentioned, obviously underdog, so I'm not confident for you three guys' sakes, but yeah, good luck. That's all I'm going to say to that. Good luck. Let's hope you can snap that 2-fight losing streak that he's on. Schwer Industry next to take on the wheel. And he gets Damon Blackshear. Damon Blackshear there for Schwer Industry. And so I've gone again with his opponent, Montel Jackson, for a decision. Simply on the basis that he's been more consistent. Truthfully, I'm not 100% sure how I'm expecting this fight to play out, but Montel Jackson's won his last four, whereas Damon Blackshear it's been a bit up and down, hasn't it? It's lost his last one, but he'd won the previous two before that, then lost the one before that, and then drew the one before that. So we don't really know what version of him he's going to turn up in that cage tomorrow night. Hopefully, for Schwer Industries' sake, it'll be the version that's got those 2 wins in a row. But in any case, he's going to need that version if he's going to get past Montel Jackson, who's in very good form lately. Was Montel Jackson he's mostly been winning by decision lately, so it's not going to. I wouldn't have thought there'd be too much threat of Damon Blackshear being finished, but yeah, so this has got sort of unanimous decision written all over it, hasn't it? Really, it's I'm not 100% sure what kind of fight I'm expecting in terms of the style of fighting, really, but it's I'm expecting Montel Jackson to be the one controlling the action, either in any case, really, just a slight level above Damon. Anyway, let's go for a more positive outlook for Tai Sumagamainov as he's next to take on the wheel. And he gets Evan Elder. Evan Elder there for Tyson Magamanov. And firstly, I'm grateful for the wheel for giving me one of the easier names to pronounce in this list. And I suppose Tyson Magamanov's going to be pretty grateful that he's got Evan Elder. His on paper looks like a very easy favourite. 8-2 record up against Darius Flowers, who's 12 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw, lost his last 2. This does look like a typical kind of step-up fight. It does look like Darius Flowers is being used as a bit of a journeyman by the UFC. And yeah, this fight doesn't look like any exception to that rule. So I think that's an underratedly safe pick. Is underratedly a word? I don't know. And it is now. But underratedly safe pick there for Tyson Magamanov. That's a sentence no one's ever said before. All right. Down to the last 2 now. Trail Allman is next to take on the Wheel of Doom. Sounds like an Indiana Jones knockoff, doesn't it? He also gets drawn with Joshua Van. Joshua Van there for Trail Allman, along with Foghorn Sam, both riding in the Joshua Van. And that was awful. I'm tempted to scrap this whole video just to scrap that joke out of it, but no, that's awful. All right, no, anyway. I'm a sucker for stupid puns like that. All right. I probably said like 10 things more intelligent than that in this video, but this is stupid shit that I like. Anyway, getting back to the fight, this is the one I mentioned where I disagree with the bookies. They've got Joshua Van as the favourite, and decent favourite as well. But I'm siding with Charles Johnson, simply because of his recent form. He's kept himself active. A fighter with momentum behind him is always dangerous. And yeah, there's 4 fights in this space of a year. You've got to be feeling good to do that. If he wasn't feeling in good form, wasn't feeling in good health, he'd be taking more time off between the fights. So the fact that he isn't shows he wants to keep that momentum going, add another streak while he's in form, and I don't blame him at all. If you can, why wouldn't you? So that's yeah. So I mean, the bookies think that Foghorn Sam and Trail Allman will be going through. I disagree. Hopefully, for their sakes, the bookies are right. And now, last up is Troz, who one thing he actually pointed out in the thread, which I didn't actually realize until he read his comment, is that Gene Silver, I was talking about fighters who like to stay active. Gene Silver fought in the last card a couple weeks back, and yeah, he's he actually got Troz through. He was last time in the first round. Troz was drawn with Gene Silver. So let's see if a little bit of history happens. See if he gets drawn with Gene Silver again this time. That'd be a hell of a coincidence, but you know, just maybe willing it into existence, putting it out there. Gene Silver, of course, up against Drew Dober. But no, let's see if he even gets Gene Silver now. 1 in 24 chance, technically. Nope, no, didn't think it would. Montel Jackson instead for Troz. So yeah, yeah, Troz would just have to make do with Montel Jackson. And having said that, I still fancy Montel Jackson to carry him through to the next round. As I mentioned, is obviously the opponent of Damon Blackshear, and this is a little head-to-head between him and Schwer Industry now. And yeah, he's the one I fancy of that little head-to-head. Like I said, Damon Blackshear just a little bit too inconsistent for my liking, whereas Jackson's won the last 4. It looks like, yeah, easy money just going off that records, and yeah, not a lot I can say to that. I think he's a decent favourite, and rightly so. Anyway, that concludes the draw for the second round of the Tapology Lucky Bastard game. Let's just run through those names one more time. We have Captain Quebec with Andre Petrosky, Cheeseball with Jasmine Jasud Devicius, Cool Hand Puke with Muslim Salikov, Costradamus with Christian Rodriguez, Fourcorn Sam with Joshua Van, Cushy Cake with Josh Fremd, Mason O also with Muslim Salikov, as is Shat as well. So 3 people riding with Muslim Salikov. Swear Industry with Damon Blackshare. Tyson Magamainov with Evan Elder. Trey Allman also drawn alongside Joshua Van. And finally, Troz with Montel Jackson. So yeah, that concludes the draw. All I can say now is good luck for those picks. Obviously, good luck with your picks on Tapology. Good luck if you are brave enough to bet on any of these fights. And until next time, so long for now. Oh, well, this is all different. This is in a different place. Where's the recording? Where's the stop recording button gone these days? Oh, here it is. Pause, stop recording, stop recording. Yeah, good night if you can still hear me.